Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to the news. That is extremely late. What can you do? I've been busy. But anyway, so for this episode we'll be covering the placements for Masters, since the tournament has already happened. If you want to go watch my full report, I will put a link to it in the description. And we will also be covering this week's secret cards. So, first things first, for Masters, we had Laurentiel taking down the whole tournament. He went 4-0. The 3-1 finishes were Uska Fanafa, Puq, myself, and Littlefer. The 2-point finishes were Peacekeeper, Geth, also known as Ghetto, Clone, Crueltech, Sprush, and Johnny V. The 1 wins were Doom, Ecop, Zephyria, and ATKST, I've never been able to say that name. Anyway, and the 0-4 was Krur. Yep, it always has to be one. So anyway, that was the final results for Masters, and I do believe the final prize pool was something at $2,300, but do not quote me on that. But anyway, I'll link the Masters report in the description, and also the link to the Championship Hub if you want to go read up the post that the devs did on it. So, on to the meat of the episode, the secret cards. This time we got 3, and they showcased a new mechanic called channeling, which is very, very interesting, and it basically allows you to use energy instead of mana. So, first things first. Let's start with the non-channeling card, shall we? A Lightning Bolt. Yes, we actually have a Lightning Bolt card in the game now. Lightning Bolt is a rage spell, non-instant. It is an uncommon. 2 and a rage. Lightning Bolt deals 1 damage to an enemy creature or hero. That creature's activated powers or that hero's skills can't be used until the start of your next turn. Draw a card. Now, at first I would have said, oh, you can't target your own stuff because they don't want you to cycle. But you can target the enemy hero, so in that case, it's not a dead card like Word of Fire is in some matchups. So anyway, what do I think of it? Now, first things first, some mechanics based on these things. It stops activated abilities. It does not stop any passive abilities. And it also stops Divine Offering, which I've been told is a bug. Yeah, according to IFCO, that's a bug, and when they were replying on the forums, like, wait, how did we miss that? You would have thought that they wouldn't have missed that, but no, it actually disables Divine Offering for now, so that will be fixed, apparently. So what do I think of the card itself? So it does 1 damage. Ping for 2 mana isn't the worst in the world. It allows you to kill random stuff like Fia and Goblins and Mesmerizing Spirit, that's a big one. It draws a card, that's nice. So the ping is a little, I mean, it's not fantastic, but it does stuff. What about the rest of the ability? I don't know about this. I mean, in terms of activated abilities, when it comes to creatures, the only thing you're really shutting down is Gin of Wishes. Gin of Wishes and Thionor. I think that's about it, to be honest. Gin of Wishes and Thionor. I can't think of anything else that's notable that you wouldn't just kill instead. So, yeah, a bit limited in that. And by Thionor, I mean Thionor after it's been used by Kanu, so it's a 4-4. So, a little limited in the use of that sort of almost silence type effect. When it comes to targeting heroes, that's a bit more interesting. You get to stop Enoch hero powers, you get to stop Vampiric Touch, you get to stop Basic Despina, Refreshing for Cataclysm, that could be huge. There's a lot of play to it. Do I think it's that good, though? No. I think it's okay. I don't think it's underpowered, I don't think it's overpowered, I think it's fine. It cycles, but the cycle is, it's good for the card, but it also means you can't really use it at Burning Rage very well, which is always appreciated, since if you draw multiple cards in a turn, it's difficult to drop your hand size, and you take way too much damage. So, I actually like the card, and I think it will see some play. But I definitely don't think it's too strong or too weak. It might be too weak, but it's definitely not too strong. But I think we'll see some play. So onto the channeling mechanic. Now, the first of these is Sunblessed Emissary. Sunblessed Emissary is an order creature. It's a human and a priest. 3 mana, 1 order, 1 generic, 2/3 with 2 speed, rare, and it has channeling. You can use Sunblessed Emissary's energy to pay for the mana cost of blessing cards, specifically. Whenever you use some Blessed Emissary's energy to play a blessing, draw a card. Now, this is a very, very interesting card to me, because the way channeling works is you can use 1 energy, or 0 energy, or all the energy to pay for cost. You can use multiple Sun Blessed Emissaries, etc. How good is it? So there's a couple of tricks you can do with this. First of all is Kayano, you get your 3-4 bloody blah, but that's, I'm not entirely sold on that. So what can you do with it? Well, it's got 2 energy, it doesn't have 3, so you can't play the buff immediately. I can't remember what that thing's actually called. But yeah, you can't spend 3 energy, there it is, to play Angelic Might immediately and draw a card, so that kind of sucks. But you can still do that for 4 mana. You can get effectively a 4/5. It's a zombie giant for the same cost, and also it's a 2-card combo, so you get the extra speed. So yeah, it's fine. Now, what else does this work with? Well, if we look up the blessings, most of the playable ones are in order. So, Mantle, yeah, it's useless. Boiling Blood, Massive Assault, Murder Instinct, these will not be used. Grand Reunion, probably not, but you never know, but probably not. So, what are we looking at here? Force Field, maybe, I don't know, 1-turn heal or other stall decks probably don't play creatures regardless. Unbreakable Spirit, seems like overkill to use a draw engine to draw cards. The ones I like are Namir's Blessing, because you get to basically play a 3-mana 2/3 that can't be targeted, has 2 speed, and it draws 2 cards. So they both replace each other. That is good. I like that. The other one I really, really like, I'm not sure how good it is, but it's super gimmicky, is Path. So what you could do is you could play for 4 mana, or I guess it doesn't have to be for 4 mana, but you can play for 3 mana, you can go Sunblessed Emissary, Path, put it under Path, and then you've done that for 3 mana, you've drawn a card, and then next turn you can break your Path, get a 3/4, draw another card, and then play another Path. You see where this is going. So yeah, it's a draw engine. How good is it? I don't think it's that great, but it's cool. I'll give them that. It is definitely cool. I don't think it's actually that good of a combo, to be fair, because you do need multiple cards, and it's not really a draw engine. You're just kind of cycling. So, overall, what do I think of it? I think that Sunblessed Emissary is an okay card, but the blessings are not very good. So I don't think the support for the Emissary is there. It's a decent way of drawing cards in order, but you have to use energy to do it. You can't just play blessings and cycle them. You actually have to play energy from the Emissary itself. So I don't think it's fantastic, but I think this is a card to watch for in the upcoming sets. Yes, sets plural, because we do need a lot of support for this to work. The last of the 3 cards we got was an epic Eleanor Spellweaver Adept. So a Spellweaver in training, basically. It's a legendary wisdom creature, costs 4 mana and 1 blue, has 3 energy, is a 1/4 with 2 speed. So some very, very odd costs and stats there. Channeling, you can use Eleanor's energy to pay for the mana cost of action cards. And if you have 3 levels, so if you have the 1 wisdom and then also 2 generic, when you play Eleanor, you can put an action card with mana cost 3 or less in your graveyard on the top of your deck. Now, first things first, that means you can't use Landslide, which is the only card I was thinking of that would be really busted, because then on you could go 5 mana, you could have like 5 mana, 3 levels, and then go Eleanor, put Landslide on top, draw, play Landslide. That'd be really stupid. But yeah, so yeah, you can't do that. So what can you do with this? That is the problem. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, it's really, really good, but I'm not massively sold on it. The reason for this is because if we just look at the cost reduction, keep in mind 4 mana 1 level is really awkward. So you're probably going to have 4 mana 2 or 3 levels. So we're looking at cost reduction here. More, you're looking for the ability to pay 3 mana, so you end up with a 1 mana 1/4 with 2 speed, basically. So what are we looking at here in terms of spells? So just in Wisdom, New Horizons, yeah, probably not. Yeah, probably not. So, yeah, you probably have already played your New Horizons. Disarm, I can't really see it, although you can use it to kind of leave up mana. Flash Freeze, yeah, maybe. 1 mana, Flash Freeze. So you get to play 3 of them, basically. So you've got a 1/4 body that can play Flash Freeze for free. That sounds decent. The rest of them, Astral Dive, that's kind of funny. Astral Dive only costs 1 mana, effectively, because you can give 2 energy back. So it only actually costs 1 energy. You get 2 extra energy on something else, and you get to draw a card. That's gimmicky. Yeah, I'm not sold on that. Ancient Wisdom? Yeah, maybe, because you can play an Ancient Wisdom for free. You get your 1/4, and then you can, later on in the game, put Ancient Wisdoms back on the top when you need to draw extra cards. Yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it. But there's nothing spectacular from Wisdom is what I'm trying to say. So let's look at the other pairings. Dominion. Yeah, these aren't too fantastic either when it comes to just getting your money's worth out of them. But the other thing you got to keep in mind is that the secondary ability is what makes or breaks Eleanor. Is putting an extra copy back in your deck effectively, because you're not drawing it, you just put it on top. Is putting an extra copy in your deck that insane? For Dominion spells, well, no, because the only one that you've got that could be insane would be Cataclysm. But Cataclysm costs 5, so you can't do it. So there isn't really much you can work with in the Wisdom Dominion shell. Which, to be honest, I'm fine with. I am fine with. That deck is already complete. I'll be doing a deck tech on that in a couple of days, by the way. But anyway, that deck is already complete, so that's fine. So what are we really looking at here? Well, you got Rage. You can get Word of Fire. You can get Fire Blast. That's huge. That's a big one. You can put Fire Blast back on top. That could be game breaking. But it's a bit slow, so you'd have to build some sort of control shell. But yeah, I could see it. The one I really like is Corruption. Why? Because of 2 incredibly powerful spells. Consume Spirit and Word of Pain. Yep, the engine that drives Casual Darius, also known as Drain Darius. So basically, you get to put, say if you put Word of Pain on top. Well, first of all, Consume is like stronger than almost every other card in your deck. So that's a good one to put on top. But if you put Word of Pain on top, then you play your Eleanor, you're -1 on cards. But you put a Word of Pain on top, so you draw normally, you play your Word of Pain, so you've just effectively drawn a card there. So you're not going further down effectively. You play your card, and it's probably at a point where you've got 4 or 5 levels, and you can keep cycling. And that could be really, really powerful. The other stuff I like out of Corruption is if you're running a gimmicky discard deck, maybe Splitting Headache, that could be interesting, not fantastic. Reanimate. This one's big, because the problem with Reanimator is that when you self-mill, you mill all your reanimates. So with Eleanor, you now have, well, okay, you have a reanimation target, but that's kind of stupid, but anyway. It can work with Advanced Nefaris, okay? You can get your Eleanor back, you can effectively sacrifice it and rebalance it with Nefaris when it dies. Okay, cool. But anyway, so you get your reanimate back with Eleanor, you draw it next turn, and then you get to play it and reanimate your dragon, for instance. So that could definitely work out, and I think that's a nice way of using Eleanor. So you got Reanimate, you got Word of Pain, and Consume. Those are the big ones. Flash for random ass lethals, yeah, sure. But the main ones are Reanimate, and then the 2 Corruption scaling cards. Some other really random ones are stuff like Word of Grace, but that feels like overkill. Maybe it's not. Maybe you play 1 Eleanor. It's like a 5th copy of Word of Grace, right? So maybe you play 1 Eleanor and 1 turn heal. Yeah. 5th copy of Word of Grace can help stall out a little bit later. I could see it. It's also 1/4, so it doesn't really die to your Electrostatic Storms. So yeah, maybe a one-off in these like combo decks, but the main one I see is in Casual Darius. Outside of that, I think she's being a little bit overhyped, because I don't think she's insane. But with Casual Darius, yep, it's a buff to the deck, which is good, because the deck is kind of, it's struggling a bit. It's at tier 2 right now. It's been kind of booted down a little bit compared to all the other decks, so a little extra support for it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. But anyway, that's about it for the news for this week. As always, if I missed anything, then please tell me in the comments, and I will, well, give my thoughts on it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback or want to ask me any questions, put it in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel directly, there is a link to my Patreon in the description, along with a referral link for new players that gives you 75,000 gold, and also the Disquisitive Spirit Card Back, which you can see down there. But as for now, it's been Jotto, signing off.